as soon as she says that, I become mute.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you become nervous.
Well, I do. I become wordless.
I wrote something.
Oh,
Ah,
Alexis,
Would
do
you
you
like
want
to
to?
hear it? Yeah.
Yeah, you want to read it? Go for it.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. It's like a question and answer. Yeah. Bliss. Sometimes I feel my brain looking for a constant, a flat line, like some kind of nice experience that could somehow be prolonged, or holding on to things that feel good. Answer. There is no story. Yes, experience lasts. At times, big feelings come in, and it does feel like they have a lifespan, a swim in the lake with a lover, a holding someone close, whatever it is. And as these experiences happen, feelings are felt, and a feeling is an experience too. But if there is a trying to hold on to it, if there is a grasping at the experience or feeling, a trying to prolong the experience or feeling, that can interfere with the feeling of joy or satisfaction or pleasure, that can interfere with the time spent with a lover or friends, or with the body allowing an experience to happen. There is no way to prolong an experience. There is no way to hold on to a feeling, to make it last a little longer. There will always be another moment in the story, even at the moment of death. Death is an adventure too. Death is its own story, and there is no story.
That's
Beautiful.
so beautiful. I love that.
yeah,
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
loved
you,
it.
baby.
Where are you, Alexis?
I'm in Oregon. Where are you? In Cedar City, Utah?
No, I'm on the screen. I don't see you.
Oh, I'm not on the screen.
Yeah,
Just
that's what I'm
pretending
talking
to be
about.
God again.
Yeah.
It's a nice painting, whatever it is.
Thanks.
Alexis, I was,
From a plane?
What, honey?
Is that from a plane?
No, this is just a close-up of a painting I did. I paint from memory, so it's just whatever's happening. But yeah, looks like a couple of boats on the ocean in the desert, if you can imagine it.
I love it.
Thanks.
It's very Van Gogh-like.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
It's funny. I bet each of us see it a different way because I see it as looking out of an airplane window, and that kind
Yeah,
of
that's what I was
brown,
seeing. It looks like
yeah,
a
that brown thing is like the wing, and I'm like
yeah.
looking down on some. But
Okay.
what I was gonna say is, Alexis, that
Yeah.
like I forget what you said, like looking for the very first line, like looking for an experience that ex is extended. I can't think of how you
Yeah.
said
A constant.
a
Yeah.
constant, but the irony of it is that when thought is not there, then there is that constant. That is consciousness is the constant.
Interesting.
That's the ever ongoing infinitely thing.
Okay.
So, but anyway, that's what that inspired
Yeah,
me.
I'd go with that. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one to know. And what about form kind of coming and going? Is that something else?
Yeah.
It's an expression of the constant. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So isn't the form is like the constant too, because it doesn't have borders. I mean, it's just anyway, I don't know. It
Yeah,
seems
this is Sid's edge. Like, is there a form and a formless, which is clearly two things, or
I think you can make a distinction between form and formless, but I think ultimately it's all consciousness, whether it's without form or with form.
yeah.
Mhm. Mike, you're going to talk about the snake and the rope?
Oh yeah. What'd you think of my new YouTube video today?
It was interesting, yeah. It was a different take on the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't usually talk about Vedanta, but
Yeah.
um, you didn't have any thoughts about the video in specifically?
Well, uh,
Had
I
you
thought
heard
it was,
that story? Had you heard the
oh
story
yeah,
of the snake?
yeah,
Yeah.
Has
yeah,
everyone heard the story of the snake and the
yeah,
rope? Because, you know, you can hear a pointer 1,000 times,
yeah,
1,000 times. And on 1,001, suddenly it's like a brand new, like, oh my God.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Is it the why did you bite me? I'm a snake.
No.
No,
That's what I do
no,
kind of thing. Oh,
no,
then I haven't heard it.
no, that's the yeah, that's a different one.
The one you should have got, I sent it on email. You're on my email list, Alexis. So you went out
Okay.
this morning. It's the illusion of separation. And
Okay.
the story is told of, let's say, Alexis, you and I are walking along, and we're walking down a mountain road at night, and you're holding the lantern, and I'm a few steps ahead of you.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, as we're walking, suddenly you hear me scream,
Yeah.
like a chilling, like from the gut, terrified scream. And like the hair on the back of your neck goes up. And then you hear me yell, "Snake!"
Wow.
and just bolt across the other direction. And so of course, your fight or flight is going to kick in. Oh my God,
Yeah.
Michael just said there's a snake there. But, but as you're holding the lantern, the lantern reveals, the light of the lantern reveals that on the ground, coiled up, is in fact a rope.
Yeah.
It was a rope that I hallucinated in the darkness, in my imagination. It felt like I saw a snake. And so I reacted accordingly. But it was never at any time a snake. It's
Mm.
always the rope. And in this metaphor, the rope is Brahman or God. All is Brahman, all is God. Even what we feel is otherwise.
Yeah. Beautiful.
But I always say that, of course, there never was a snake, but you did see something that looked like a snake. So I always kind of add to that. Well, the next time you see a rope in a dim room and it looks like a snake, you won't get spooked
Yeah.
because you'll know
Yeah.
that it's not really. So in other words, the world still continues to appear. But if you've seen through the illusion, it doesn't mean the world disappears, but you just see it for what it is.
Yeah. And one of the things you'll begin to see more and more, and again, there's a deepening, is that it is Brahman playing all the parts. That this is Brahman
Mhm.
right here talking to Brahman.
Mhm.
Sid Friedman, did you have a question? Sid Friedman?
I,
Sid
oh, you called
Sid
on
Friedman.
me. Oh my. Uh, I listened to the video today, Michael, and I love how you tell stories. It was such a nice story. It was so nice to go on that story with you.
Hmm.
And I have, just like Alexis was saying, I have the Sid edge on this, and it kind of works with the snake story. And I kind of went a little far when I went on my retreat, because let's say we apply that Advaita to Sid or to Michael or Tony, and at first we see, oh, there's Sid here, and then we look closer to seeing just like what you know, it's really Brahman, it's really this beingness, it's really this kind of infinite being, and there's a little bit of I'm finding a little bit of riskiness or danger in this for my own system, because as we see that, we also see that it's all the timelessness of being, And then there's this sense of, but Sid, Michael, Tony, there's also this experience of fully living in time as Sid and Michael and Tony. And we don't want to see, this will sound weird, but if we just like seeing through the snake, if we see through the appearance of the personal, then we can also see through time. And there's just something happened here with that. It's like, whoa, wait, pull back, come back here. What do you got? And this is, I'm kind of playful with it, but it's very real here. This edge. And what do you guys do with that? Like, if you don't see the snake anymore, and you don't see Michael and Sid.
In
Yeah,
other
but
words,
I do see Sid or something that
no,
looks
but
like Sid.
you're saying what happens to the fellowship of the snakes? In other words, if you no longer see Sid and Tony and Michael, anyways, as I understand your illustration, you're saying there'd no longer be like the people, you know? Are you thinking there'd be?
Well, even for our own experience, like we can see through the sense of the personal and time. Like time is in the depth of Advaita, time is a construct. Time and space are constructs. And they can be seen through. And it gets a little, this is where it's like, whoa, put on the brakes. Don't go down that window. You gotta be careful.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
Stephanie, no separation doesn't mean that people and the world disappear. It just means no separation
Well,
between what appears as people and the formless.
but you'd see them so differently. I mean,
Well,
if think of how hugely
tricky.
different a snake is from a rope. And if you saw the people that we call the characters that like are right here, right now, if we saw them as differently as this, as is in that illustration, what would that be like?
Well, I would say that people and trees just look like they always did, but there's just a kind of spontaneous flow, I would say, that doesn't differentiate. Oh, it's getting rid of the me and the mine.
Hmm.
So, the people are there, the objects of the world are there, but the me and the mine disappears, the illusion of the me and the mine. So everything still looks the same.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, this is the effect of the observer. So the observer is always present, we can say, and what we see is always present as it is. But because of the automatic grabbing of consciousness, the observer becomes solid and the objects become solid at the same time. So it's that very fact that consciousness doesn't create solidity. It only creates solidity through the observer. So it is always what it is, but it's like the matrix forms through observation as an automatic response to what's there, what's being rendered. But it's
I
all
can't
just
even,
render.
But
you
if
can't
there's
even see the
no
physicality.
What?
You can't even see the physicality though. Like you think there's physicality, but you don't. There's not even there. If you
Yeah,
really look at it.
exactly.
but if there's no separation, then observer and observed are the same.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's the function. That's just I could say it's the human function is that it coalesces into what appears to be solid, and in that appearance of solidity becomes the observer and the observed. So conceptually, it's like, oh yeah, there's this, but as an actual physical experience, should we say, it's both. It's obvious at some occasions that there's nothing there, but there's no solidity to things or objects. It's a screen. And then it can coalesce through a personal lens to be very obviously objectified. That's my experience anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, the thing is that that's just speaking about this, automatically turns it into a concept which is, unavoidable
Well,
because that's language.
but the concept is this. That's also this.
Yeah.
It's not excluded because it's a concept. It's not
Yeah.
excluded because we're talking about it. It's
Yeah. I had a comment on the whole thing originally because it is what's happening. And what I missed on the illustration, Michael, was that it would happen at twilight. And that made a big difference to me because in twilight, you're not sure about what you're seeing sometimes. You're just kind of
Yeah.
going along. And especially if it's something's at a distance and they're talking about a well that the man is approaching in the original story.
Hmm.
And the rope is wrapped around the well and it comes up to a point where it appears to be a cobra. and and that's where he's frightened and stuff and he just freezes and then an old man comes along and says, "What's going on? Get a stick and kill it, to kill it. There's something going on. What's the matter? What's the matter?" And then the older man comes up and closer and says and tells him it's not a snake. And then at that point the realization came in where the fear was completely gone. The fear of what he appeared to see was no longer there. That superimposition that he put on it, that layer that he put on it, and making it an evil thing, that fear reaction, because he wasn't sure where he was just going into a village at twilight, and it was just about dark completely. Because if it was nighttime, he couldn't see it at all. There would be no, you couldn't see anything. And if it was daylight, he would see what was there. So I thought that was something that made it, at least it made it clear to me that it happened at twilight. For some reason that helped me. I don't know, maybe not. But I liked the graphics and the thing that you did. That was neat. You have such, I don't know where you get those graphics at. You must really do some hunting and save them and stuff. Yeah. And use, there's a compliment. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, it's this is about freedom. That's my only interest. I something like Stephanie said last week, we are talking about death, something here found death offensive.
Mhm.
Something here also felt that suffering was offensive, funny enough. Like,
Yeah.
what is all this suffering business? I don't get it. And more I began seeing that this society kind of is set up to kind of drain you. If you get into the machinery of self-improvement, that's endless. You can self-improve till the body takes its last breath. And so,
Michael, we say more about that. The suffering business. It was such a powerful line. I don't get it. Can you say a little bit more about that? Your experience of it?
mhm. Well, depression ran in my family. Both my parents committed suicide, and I didn't really know what happiness looked like. I didn't really have a clue how to be happy. I just knew I was miserable. And so thus began the seeking. And eventually I couldn't find, like nothing seemed to work. And there was kind of a giving up, like, well, I just can't figure this out. And I don't know. It was like something said, well, maybe you don't need to.
Mm.
Mm.
But I think you're right, Michael. It just comes down to, I mean, we could talk about non-duality till the cows come home. And of course, we will every week. But, at the end of the day, it's really all about peace and the end of suffering. I mean, that's it.
Mhm.
Question, Michael. Does it not suffer anymore? Does it not? Is it in your system? Has it found, like, is it free of that now completely?
Well, it's like it's whatever's arising is no longer even like it's hard to explain because I don't want to like paint it like there's just whatever is arising, but nothing seems that important anymore.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It just doesn't. It's everything feels temporary. Everything is going to die. And so there's a loss of interest because what's interested here is in the eternal. And that's where the fruit is. If you're serious about this, you'll begin to realize how much of your attention is going to the useless mind, which is only filled with finite problems. And you begin to direct that same energy to the stillness within. Put it on Brahman.
Hmm. Tune it to Brahman.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost like the death of reaction.
Yeah. That is, you begin to notice your reactions do calm down.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But there's also um, if when you're suffering, when you're deep in suffering, um, if you sort of just stay with it, stay with the suffering and sort of like not judge it, just be with it. There's I found a tremendous peace there with the suffering. I mean, a tremendous peace. For me, even a greater peace than, quote, the enlightenment, the non-attachment kind of peace that we all seek. That there's something that the peace is in the suffering and like not not resisting the suffering. That the suffering is actually or can be a portal to the peace. So, and since there's a lot of suffering going on in the world, could be that is a portal. We don't have to get away from the suffering. It's not like we have to get away from it. It's I'd rather have peace and suffering. It's like that the suffering is hidden or the peace is hidden in the suffering. The suffering is
Yeah.
like grist for the mill, like Ram Dass would say, something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, suffering is made out of God too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, and see, and suffering was beautiful. Yeah, suffering is God, and suffering will take you to your knees. So it's like you really, if you suffering will take you down so much that you've got no choice
Yeah.
but to see God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got no choice. It's
Yeah.
very beautiful.
Yeah.
I think what you said, Don, is right on. If you stay with the feeling of the suffering, then it dissolves because anything that you scrutinize dissolves. So actually, I mean, that's the whole principle of self-inquiry. So when you look at or scrutinize the I, it dissolves. So it's the same principle. So the same would happen with actually, it reminds me of something. The teacher of Eckhart Tolle, Eckhart Tolle always used to talk about the pain body.
Yeah.
Well, his teacher was a guy called Barry Long, and his practice was exactly what you described, which was to stay with an emotion, to stay with it, to hold on to it until it dissolved. It's exactly what you're describing. And then Eckhart Tolle stole everything that Barry Long talked about. But okay, that's another story.
But actually, Thich Nhat Hanh, my favorite thing that he says is that you hold the suffering like an infant, as an
Ah,
infant,
mm,
because the
That's very
suffering
nice.
energy or the anger energy or the whatever that energy is your energy, is of you, or I guess everything. And so then by holding it, then it becomes translated, or it changes. Anyway,
Oh, that's
I love
beautiful.
that.
Oh, that's beautiful because that cradling of the suffering means that
Yeah,
you're in a way loving it. You're directing this kind of love back to yourself,
Mhm.
with a big
yeah,
S.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Gentle, and it's almost like it softens you.
Yeah.
It's softened because it's innocent, and there was something that uh, whatever you're whatever's appearing is what you're longing for. I think Jenny was talking about that at different times, but it's almost like whatever's the experience that we're having, it's coming up in me. My thoughts, my feelings, my emotions. I'm not. They may be not in the forefront, but I'm getting exactly what that is. That nature is being expressed. And the longing for it's almost like the emptiness because I don't own the stuff that comes up. There's no owner here. And and that attachment to it is the pain I feel. But all of it is included. There's nothing that's not. That's the hard part. There's no good or bad, indifferent, anything, because we have ideas, and I think what's right and wrong, and because we've been conditioned. I've been conditioned, hardwired, and it's just it keeps on playing over in my mind. Sometimes I'll react, and then I'll say, "Oh, step back," That's my ego, my we call it. But I guess what I'm saying is that it's so much different than what I actually think it is. It's like a whole universe different. And I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
But we don't want to admit that somehow.
Well,
It's
in the
this.
story, sorry, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to say it's this point about reaction, kind of seeing through those that they're happening automatically and innocently, and then recognizing that you are the create. It's not reactions at all, actually. It's creations.
Yeah.
That you're creating and rendering that evidence of those beliefs you haven't seen or understood or recognized or accepted. So it's like kind of clumsily said the death of reaction, but it's really the recognition that you are the radiant child of these experiences, and that the reaction for whatever reason is just part of that process until it isn't part of the process, or it is as you say, it's nothing's excluded in it. But
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, then there's just, pain or anger or jealousy or whatever it is without a story that it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and how difficult it can be, this pain, this jealousy, this anger, just as Don was sharing, just to be nakedly with it,
Mhm.
or to really subtly stay with it, just like what you were saying, Manny. There's things react and move away. The personality does that, or just programming, and just the exquisiteness of staying with it, where I find Michael's way, what I'm interpreting, when it's just interest in the eternal, can be easier. Sometimes it can even be necessary, I think, for some systems to know that first before being able to stay with the kind of the exquisiteness of the subtlety of where Don's pointing.
Mhm.
And is there anyone to stay with it, Sid?
Exactly. Good one.
Something I just realized was that angst or that uncomfortableness or whatever we're feeling when we're in those big, what we call the big emotions or sufferings, is is such an indicator of um, like it's showing it on us on that end of the spectrum what it's like to be a human being who believes in stuff, in no matter what I believe in, as a like just thinking I'm a me or thinking I have to deal with other people, or in other words, it's all suffering. It's just the heavy duty, what we call the biggies are at one end, and then like the other end is just me daily thinking I'm a human that has to go out and do stuff. And it's the whole continuum is suffering because of that belief of that I am me and I got to do stuff. And I got to get out there, do stuff,
Yeah.
and it's a fight. You've got to be a human, whatever's going through my brain. So,
That can soften, Stephanie. That can soften because what you begin to see is that before, when you were suffering, there was a claim of ownership for whatever was arising.
yeah,
And suddenly now, there doesn't seem to be the ability to, it doesn't mean anything can arise, but the anger is no longer believed to be mine.
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do
when the
you miss do
grasping and the clinging falls away, the grasping, the clinging, the attachment, then you still have the same situation happening, but you might not define it as a problem then. It's just a situation. But when the grasping and the clinging disappear, then the suffering disappears. So, but otherwise, everything remains the same.
Yeah.
You still have an apparent problem, that you need to solve in your life. That's still there, of course,
Mhm.
but it's not the me and the mine
Yeah.
are not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to be afraid of the snake when you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
You could just do the practical thing and
Yeah, yeah. But at
shine
the
a
same time,
flashlight
you
on
can
it.
yeah. But at the
But
same time, you can still carry on saying, "Oh, this is my house, this is my car."
Yeah.
You can still
Yeah.
do that. That's okay. No problem.
Yes, but there's something there also isn't fully believing it, the me
Yeah.
and the my, right? It's like not
It's
fully finding it.
transactional. Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
here's my question for
yeah.
that. Is there do you find because I do you find that there's a missing, that there's something that misses the ability to find the me and the my and to identify and kind of go deeper into that?
I think if it doesn't arise, then there's no question concerning it. I mean, it's that simple. If it just doesn't arise, it's not there, then you wouldn't even think of investigating something that doesn't arise.
So if there's no personal charge, there's no discharge. Do
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
I mean, if it dissolves, then yeah, you can talk about it as a subject, as a topic, like we're talking now in a Zoom meeting. But otherwise, when you're just living, like just living, if it doesn't arise, you're not going to question it. You're not going to be concerned about, oh, is there a personal self or what is real, what is illusionary? I mean, those things aren't going to come up. You're just going to open the refrigerator and take out whatever you want to eat, and that's what you're going to do, right? So you're not going to be thinking about this stuff when that's going on.
but there does seem to be a feeling of ease. There does seem to be
Ease, yeah.
Yeah.
some ease in that, of not having to. Gosh, there was something. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask was the beginning, we were talking about the snake and the rope and, mistaking the rope for a snake. And like when I drive down the hill, because we live up above our town, up at 8,000 feet. And when I drive down to town, I always pass by these trees. And sometimes, though, they appear to be uh, just faux trees. I mean, they're not like, or like one time my post office looked like it was just the front of a post office, but I had no real evidence that there was
Yeah.
anything more to it. And so in that regard, if I saw, but I don't think I've seen a person that way. I was wondering what it would be like to see like Manny. Like I run into Manny at our house. We live in our house together, right? So like what if I saw him like the same way I'm seeing the post office or the tree? Like what would that be like? I have no clue. I don't know what that would be like. Would I
That's
just,
beautiful.
Okay,
yeah.
Manny, it's time to reevaluate your life, I think.
It would be
But that's
wonderful,
definitely, but what
wonderful.
But what would
I
it
like
be
what you
like to see in other words, someone that you know, someone that you have a personal relationship with, to see them as, although actually, my Tai Chi Sifu, my guy, he died. He just died a couple of days ago. And when I
Oh,
saw him recently, he looked nothing like himself. He couldn't speak, he was very frail. I think he was heavily medicated. I mean, he's 86 years old. Um, but I don't know, that's different. It's like if I saw Manny or someone else that I know or one of you, I wonder what that would be like. I'm just putting that
Yeah,
I've
out.
I
had
like what
that.
I like what you said though. I mean, the ease, yeah, the ease of beingness, of just the ease of just being. But I think what you're talking about, the tree, I think sometimes the world can look very dreamlike, can appear to be very dreamlike. I wouldn't go as far as some people who say, "Oh, it is a dream." I wouldn't say that because I know what a dream is, but I would say that sometimes the world looks very dreamlike. Difficult to describe, really.
It is
Stephanie,
a dream.
Yeah.
I would say that, death is perhaps our greatest teacher. It doesn't negotiate.
Yeah.
It's on its terms.
Mhm.
And everything that can go will go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What doesn't come and go?
Yeah. This. Mm.
Even this, which comes and goes, doesn't come and go.
Yeah.
There's no coming, there's no going. There's just this. And Stephanie, so sorry for your Tai Chi
Yeah,
teachers.
sorry.
Yeah.
I
I'm sad
really,
about that.
really feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But his wife was okay with it after she found out, that it's best because it was draining them of all their finances and she was going to have to sell
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
Yeah.
to
It
keep
was
it
a it
the
was
way
a
it
good
was.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Because that's one of those weird situations where the person that you knew is completely gone and you're keeping their body alive in a what do you call it, retirement home that's charging you $10,000 a month and draining
Yeah.
everything that you had built up your
Yeah.
whole life. So I mean in that respect I think it was a good thing.
Well, it does beg the question, are you your body? Are
no.
you your body? This is something only you can
Yeah.
it's a very, in a way, very personal. But
Yeah.
because your reaction, for me, I would say, for many, death was horrible. The idea that we're going to die, it just was completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I couldn't really enjoy anything fully because there was the constant feeling that what's the point? It's all meaningless and you're
Mm.
going to die. And it turns out that it's actually, when you see this for what it is, it's actually every moment is like a celebration. It's just, wow, look at this. Just like stop for a second, stop thinking about yourself and just notice what's actually here.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
then
would like to tell
technically
a
we
story.
we
Hmm?
die nightly, right? What were you saying, Addie? Sorry.
I wanted to tell a story about yesterday.
Yeah,
about
go for it.
how,
Yeah.
so this is a story about how you interact with people after when you're in clarity or whatever. Um, so I was like, what to do today? No plans, no chores. I'm gonna go on a walk because I have no money to do anything else. So I went to like the middle of the city and practiced my skateboarding and stuff. And I made like two friends by just randomly walking up to people and talking to them. And you just like the secret is you just listen to them and ask questions about what the hell they're talking about. And like if you are genuinely listening, you can get anyone to like want to interact with you more. It's kind of funny. So
Yeah.
like basically when there's that emptiness there, whatever they're saying most of the time, not all the time, most of the time it's like very interesting and I like have the desire to ask questions and like laugh at it and like it like creates a really beautiful space when you're with them that I think they can feel too. And yeah, that's my story. It was a
Beautiful.
good time.
So Addie, I think you should write. Okay, so like this is the second story of yours that I've heard where you go, I got nothing to do, I got no money, I'm going to the center of town. And I think you should write a little book about your adventures when you got nothing to do and you got no money, and you go to the center of town because
Oh, yeah.
the coolest things
Well,
happen, You could have like a little book, like you could
Yeah.
self-publish it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
yeah, but
Adventures of Emptiness.
Yeah.
great.
I follow Addie on Facebook. She writes a lot of things, and they're just always uplifting. I mean, they're also crazy. I don't understand what they are. I have no idea. But
That's Addie.
but it's the essence of Addie, right? It's the essence
Essence of
of Addie,
Addie.
and that is just so intoxicating. Yeah, it's
Mm.
very beautiful.
That could be your deal, the essence of Addie. I love it.
Addy
Hi.
World.
I don't mean to interrupt
Yeah,
here.
Addie.
I'm new. I just wanted to come on and say hi to everybody. My name is Dr. Joe. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes,
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 Joe.
Hello.
yes.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi,
Oh
everybody. My
yes,
name is Dr. Joe.
I invited Joe. He turned up a couple of times on the Sanders Zooms. So we
Oh,
were chatting and I invited him along.
thank you.
All
Good.
right.
Oh,
Nice
good,
to
because
meet you.
I was afraid for a second he was Dr. Joe and he was gonna like try to sell us something.
Oh, I
What
don't know, he
Actually
might.
invited
I mean,
by
hold
Yeah,
on, he
funny
Tony.
place
might.
to go.
I'm
What
open.
was it? I was going to
He
tell you what?
might because Stephanie, he's a Reiki master, so he
Oh,
Oh,
might want
wow.
to be selling you
Wow.
something.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
That's great.
okay. Yes, yes, yes. No, anyways, hi everyone.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm a spiritual guide, author, musician, and a Reiki master. And I just was thinking of what to say and listening to all of this wonderful stuff. In response, I missed the name, but the lady with the colorful room talking about making friends and the act of listening and how listening can be such a life like a lively active participant in your life, so to speak. But it's such a passive thing that the act of listening, and in context of a kind of a civil understanding and spirituality, listening is basically kind of top notch, so to speak, right? And then
Mhm.
if you take it through kind of different kind of levels, and you go into kind of uh, any possible level, listening is something that doesn't really get to have any kind of regressive or negative kind of connotations. Is something that I can share some wisdom on that. Especially I'll just go to the easiest and most kind of simple and obvious one is having to do with death. And I think of in Buddhism, when the monks would, I don't know if they still do, but kind of it's a Buddhist kind of proclivity to kind of meditate on death, and in that kind of way that you're preparing yourself for your physical passing, and that what ends up being there is just the awareness, and then well, yeah, we're practicing just listening, right? So in that kind of way, I guess if we're talking about shedding layers, right, so that we can get to what's real, I think that's a very, very real, powerful aspect of life, listening. in that way. So yeah, thank you for having this, and I'll obviously gonna hang out for tonight. And yeah, you all rock. Angel blessings.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Joel.
Joey, that was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to riff off of Joey
Yeah.
and say that what was noticed here was I was able to listen to you to the extent that I was able to listen to myself. So the more space and love I gave to listening to my own stuff, the more space and love I was able to share and be for others. And that I found was ever deepening. There was just a feeling of more acceptance and more love. And then you now have that same love for others. You can relate because, it's not a denial.
Nice.
It's a yes. Yeah. It's a, I know.
That is so beautiful, Michael. That is just touches my heart. So just so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Can I raise something again just to see if it resonates or anyone can speak to it? Just oops, am I interrupting?
No, you're perfect.
No, we were loving Sidness. Is what we were.
Everyone loves
We were all loving Sidness.
Because there really is some vulnerability here right now in that my
All right.
system goes in and out of, it's like the first person to the third person and talk in the experience of this identity. And I love the first person, and it's been going, and I've gotten lost a little bit in it. Speaking of this, like Tony speaks of it, and I call this falling into timelessness. And there's a preference in my system for time and timelessness concurrently. And I'm getting a little spooked by some experiences and I just, if there's anything that comes in the group on that one, because my sense is most of my friends here, most of you all are loving the timelessness and the sense of the I and me kind of changes to the third person of like the he and him. And that's beautiful. And that's what most of my non-dual friends go. My system's a little different in that. And it's kind of going back and forth. And I am having some difficulties with this last week. I kind of got lost in the he and him after my retreat.
If you're
I
getting
can hear
spooked
that.
if you're getting spooked by things, then there's nothing you can do about it. You will continue to get spooked. So the answer is just keep going back to the stillness.
Yeah. I find it just being as present as you can in the situation and just notice the things that spook you. Notice that stuff come up and allow it to come up. But at the same time, don't bring in preconceived ideas into a the other person situation where you're going to be going to meet somebody or you're going to do this or that. Just be there as best you can. It's almost like, can I be present at this gathering with the other, the so-called other? But that's the thing. There isn't another. There's just one thing happening, and it's all here within you. And I don't have to think about what I have to do so that I won't be vulnerable, because the vulnerability is the dynamic of this moment, the life, the it's almost like the freshness of this moment is here right now. And I want to think about how I can be safe in it. Thought can't get here. Thought is describing this moment after it's already occurred. It's already here, and then a thought comes up and says, "Well, what do you think of this?" Yeah, well, I'll save you. Oh, yeah, it's just crazy. I believe it, but that's also part of the whole. So it's innocent, and there's nothing to diminish in it. It's all this happening right now. And I could be afraid or not. I could be vulnerable or not. Because there's no I that's really in charge here. There's just the aliveness of this moment. One other thing I wanted to say was the death thing. What really helped me was seeing my dad in his coffin. I went there the day before we were going to have the funeral and stuff, and I touched his arm. I felt his arm lying there, and it's leathery, and it's that's not him.
Yeah.
That this is my because there's still aliveness going through my body, so it doesn't feel that way. But this isn't me. And when this goes, it just goes, the life force goes out of it, but there's still the aliveness that's always present here, right now.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful, Manny. What brought what brought the body, we'll take it.
Yeah.
It's Sid, what I think you're saying is something that Manny and I were taught. Manny and I have little Mosqueda meetings. Our last name's Mosqueda, so we have Mosqueda meetings in the morning. And what we were talking about is because I'm always saying, well, how come I can't see that I'm not real, or how come I can't see that stuff isn't real and I'm not real and whatever. And the point is, I am. It does it. Whatever is happening right now is it. And what I want to say is that it's not it, and it's bad, and it's like I'm not doing. But in reality, it's all it, and it's all okay, and it's all accepted, and it's all it. And stop thinking about it. For me, I'm not saying to you. I'm saying that to me. But it's like I think what I think is an it is already it, and I don't know. It was way better in my brain than when I'm expressing it. So
Even the thinking or not thinking about it is it. Yeah.
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 Yeah. How
I
could it
was
not be if it's whole?
yeah. I was writing something yesterday. It's just a short one if I can share it, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
um,
please.
love is a burden, and yet to unburden oneself is the greatest act of self-love.
Beautiful. Can you read it again?
Love is a burden, and yet to unburden oneself is the greatest act of self-love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I would say that it's a love. The mind is not you. And once you're clear about that, there's a freedom.
Mhm.
yeah. This was my point that the way that we view love is itself, that we're even because love is a word, we're just carrying the burden of that. And so to unburden ourselves from it is the true act of self-love. It's that beautiful paradox of yeah.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Self-love. Yes, I don't want to interrupt if someone was about to speak up, but yeah, self-love is such a, I don't know if anyone in here or anyone watching is familiar with Matt Kahn. He's a wonderful, very resonant is a wonderful word to use generally about describing him. I believe he's Jewish, and he has some of the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen in my life. And what I love about him is that, well, he resonates with the word, we say like angelic, but in that kind of way, there's a seriousness, there's a gravity to angelic, that there's such a deep purpose, an unending, eternal purpose that's right along with our eternal quest. And in that kind of way, I think of that's what I think of self-love, the seriousness of it. And yeah, so I just wanted to share some on that. I feel it's so appropriate for people to take themselves seriously and just leaving it at that as the first step, because it's a big step and it's a real step, and getting to the place where you're there, it might take you till you're 45, right? You might figured it out when you're 15, right? Maybe you had a difficult childhood and it kind of was like a fierce grace, like with Ram Dass, but you escaped it and you got to that place of taking yourself seriously, which is kind of the thing about self-love, is it's almost not possible to practice self-love to use some kind of word, to practice it, right? Without some kind of self-seriousness, you know? So yeah, I'll stop there. But yeah, thanks.
Matt Kahn, right behind me, I hosted him and Julie about 14 years ago in my living room. Yeah, Matt Kahn and Julie. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He's a little guy, and he comes into my, and he's glowing. The guy is just lit up. And we go into my bedroom, and there's all my non-duality books proudly displayed on the bookshelf. And old twinkly-eyed Matt looks at them, looks at me, and then with this impish grin, the bastard says, "My goal is to make all that firewood." And he's right. That's what happened.
Yeah.
One day I woke up and they all
Eventually.
got boxed up because I wanted to see this for myself.
You should have made it into a big old bonfire, like you said.
I was this close to burning them all. Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening?
Love you guys. It was a fun
Love you.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Great.
everybody.
Great to have you, Joe.
Good to have you, Joe.
Thank you. I'm basically.
Yeah, good to see you, Joe.
How often do you do this, if I may ask?
I do it every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. If you shoot me your email on Messenger, I can add you to the list. I have an email list.
Sure.
I'll give Joe your email.
Cool.
Yay. I
Great.
just want to say thank you on behalf of all of humanity, even though this group isn't something that is huge like on CNN, but it's such a overwhelmingly beneficial thing, and it's very, very important that people hear that there's being thanked for it no matter what. So just want to say that, and I hope to come back.
Thank you,
so much,
Joey.
everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure having you. Great having all of you guys. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye,
Have a
everybody.
great week.
Yeah, have a good day.
Bye,
Have a good
guys.
night.
Take care.
Love you all. Bye bye.